The laughter rang out like waves off Elliott Bay, loud, fake and reeking of money. Four Seasons. Seattle Grand Ballroom, 1017 a.m. On the 15th of March 2024. 250 shareholders, investors, partners, CNBC, Bloomberg, even a Netflix documentary crew shooting green shipping packed the room. The 200-inch LED screen behind the stage scrolled gold letters on deep sea green: Anderson Maritime Group, a new era begins. Blake Anderson's 62 silver hair slicked back with gel Tom Ford smoke gray suit hugging the Tom Ford smoke gray frame of a former ship captain stood center stage. He held the mic, flashed that smirk Seattleites call the Puget Sound smirk. "You know," he said, voice raspy from 40 years of Cuban cigars on deck last week, "my eldest daughter Quinn signed away her entire $85 million inheritance. Just to take $100,000 cash and the Lake Washington house." The room roared. A cold storage tycoon from Tacoma slapped his thigh. A San Francisco shark fund queen yelled smart money. Blake raised a hand, then continued, like he was telling a yacht club joke. "She was always the artsy one. Drawing green ports, sustainable docks, whatever. Hand her a balance sheet and she looks at it like it's ancient Greek. So let her keep drawing. The company." He turned to the girl on his right. "Goes to someone who gets it. My youngest, Ava Anderson." Ava, 22, red Valentino cutout dress, showing off a sun-kissed back, highlighted blonde hair glowing like California noon. Lifted her phone and went live on TikTok right there on stage. Point of view: "Your sister just fumbled the bag harder than the Seahawks in Super Bowl X. Licks number Nepo baby number CEO era number Anderson Maritime 150,000 live viewers. Comments flying. Queen Ava about to eat. Big sis really said keep the change. Laugh my ass off. $100 Kelvins for $85 That's not fumbled, that's dropped on concrete. I sat in row 5 between two old shareholders whispering about P divided by E. Ratios. The black Armani suit I wore wasn't for a party, it was armor. 1019 a.m. The ballroom doors swung open. A 6'3" FedEx courier in a black vest, badge screaming, "Urgent, signature required," walked in like he owned the place. The room went dead quiet. No one makes a FedEx guy wait. "Mr. Blake Anderson." Blake frowned, but kept the CEO smile. "That's me." The courier handed over a thick cream Crane & Co. envelope sealed with deep sea blue wax and an ABA logo no one in the room had ever seen. "Signature here, sir." Blake scrawled, ripped it open on stage, thinking it was the final inheritance paperwork. Page 1, "Dear Dad, by the time you finish reading this aloud," yes, you will read it aloud, "AMG stock will be down 15%. Dad's face went ash gray. His lips trembled. The mic was still hot. "What the hell is this, Quinn?" His voice boomed through the JBLs. Every soul in the room heard it crystal clear. I stood. No rush. 10-centimeter Louboutins clicked across the walnut floor. I took the wireless mic from a frozen tech. "That's my resignation from your empire, Dad," I said, voice cold as a Seattle November wind, "and my acceptance letter for the $62 million Pacific Green Ports contract in San Francisco. You know, the one AMG chased for 28 months, the one you flew to Singapore 3 times to pitch." The room froze. A Bloomberg reporter dropped her iPhone. A Bellevue pension fund boss whispered, "Jesus Christ." The real-time stock ticker on the LED blinked. AMG $42.17, 11.3% red, numbers flashing like blood. Ava was still live, but the camera now pointed at her stunned face. TikTok comments flipped instantly. Plot twist. "Big sis just pulled a Beyoncé drop number, fumbled the bag, backfired, someone clip this." I smiled, the first real smile of the day. "Keep laughing, Dad," I said loud enough for the mic, because in about 45 seconds that drop hits 18%. And by lunch every outlet from Seattle Times to Wall Street Journal will run the same headline. I clicked the remote. The LED flipped to my first slide: Anderson blue architecture in deep sea blue white text, $62,000,000. 0 Pacific Green Ports, San Francisco. 0 Carbon Container Terminal. Lead designer Quinn Anderson. Status signed. Sealed. Yours truly. Stock ticker refreshed. AMG $39.04, 18.7% margin. Call alerts started pinging on shareholders' phones. Dad stood there, 8 pages fluttering to the stage floor like autumn leaves off Puget Sound. Ava whispered into her phone, but it still blasted through the PA. Technical difficulties, guys." I looked Dad dead in the eye. "Last line before I walked off. You taught me everything about leverage, Dad. Today, I'm using it. the ballroom doors opened again. This time 4 top AMG execs, CFO, COO, Chief Sustainability Officer and the Port of Seattle Director stood up in unison, black Samsonite rollers in hand. "We're with Quinn," the CFO said flat out. They followed me out. CNBC zoomed in on Dad's face, the first time in his life. Blake Anderson, the man who once shut down the port of Tacoma for refusing a discount, looked like an old man hit by a tsunami. Final ticker before I left AMG,36. 4%, trading halt pending. I didn't look back. But if I had, I'd have seen Ava slumped on the floor, cracked phone screen muttering, "Sis, where did she get that contract?" And Dad, holding the last page of my letter P.S. in my navy Mont Blanc ink, P.S. Ava might want to Google Port of San Francisco before her speech. It's not a cruise terminal for influencers. Manhattan, the 3rd of September 2020. I was standing on the 78th floor of 7 Hudson Yards, Hudson River, wind whipping my hair, holding a heavy Mont Blanc Vornado Realty had just gifted me. In front of me, a 3-inch thick contract, Hudson Yards Phase 2 West Tower Extension, $200 million. Lead designer Quinn Anderson, 23, MIT, 20 summa cum laude. Vornado CEO Stephen Roth was grinning ear to ear beside me. "Quinn, you're about to become the youngest architect ever to stamp a billion-dollar skyline in New York. Sign here, kid." I smiled, pen touching paper. Reeing. Phone going crazy in my bag. Unknown Seattle number. I almost declined, but something twisted in my gut. Hello, voice of Dad's assistant Margaret, who'd worked for AMG since I wore diapers. Breaking. Quinn, he. Mr. Blake. Collapsed on the yacht. Elliott Bay. Massive stroke. Harborview Medical. Come now. The world stopped. The Mont Blanc slipped, blue-black ink bleeding across the glass floor. Quinn. Roth called. I heard nothing. Just my heartbeat and the loop. Dad. Yacht. Stroke. I left the Louis Vuitton suitcase half-packed, left the unsigned contract, left the red Louboutins I'd bought for my corner office. Ran straight to JFK, bought the most expensive ticket, left first-class Alaska Airlines, 4 hours 45 minutes nonstop to Seattle. On the plane, I sat by the window watching Manhattan shrink into glittering Lego. I was 23, about to become America's youngest star architect. Now what? Harborview Medical Center, 11:42 p.m., same day. Chief neurologist Dr. Elena Ramirez, who I'd later call the doctor from hell, stood outside the ICU with a thick chart. Massive ischemic stroke. Right hemisphere. He's stable, but... She paused, looking at me like I was a kid. He'll need 24/7 care for minimum 24 months. Speech, occupational, physical, cognitive therapy. He may never get back to 100%. Someone has to make medical decisions. Now. My real mom, Elizabeth Anderson, died of breast cancer in 2015. She was the only one who ever believed I should do architecture instead of joining the family business like a good daughter. Ava, my half-sister, was in Barcelona studying at a university she'd never attended. Latest Instagram story: Ibiza with my girls, Euro summer, Anderson takeover, bikini and Dom Perignon on somebody's yacht. I signed. Medical power of attorney. Corporate power of attorney. Temporary guardianship. All in one night. Hand shaking so bad the first signature smeared. Next morning I walked into the corner office on the 35th floor of Smith Tower, AMG headquarters since 1978. Smell of old cigars, leather and burnt coffee exactly the same. Dad's desk was buried. Port of Seattle contract expiring, union lawsuit, $42 million, JP Morgan loan coming due. I sat in Dad's leather chair, the one I used to climb as a kid pretending to be captain. Now I was the real captain. No salary. No vacation. No future. First week, 4 a.m., heparin injection into Dad's belly. 6 a.m., physical therapy at Swedish Medical. 9 a.m. Zoom board meeting, 12 old white guys panicking because stock dropped 9%. Noon, renegotiate fuel contract with Shell, saved $4.2 million, 3 p.m. Speech therapy. Dad could only say, Quinn. Ship. 8 p.m. Freelance. Pier 66 Eco Terminal redesign under alias Q. Blue to make $12K divided by month for rent, 2 a.m. Fall asleep in ICU chair. I lost 15 pounds the first month. Hair fell out in clumps from stress. Ex-boyfriend in New York texted, babe, Hudson Yards picked someone else. You okay? I replied, fine. But I wasn't. Month 6 Dad started longer sentences. First time he recognized me, Quinn. Company. Good job. I cried. In the hospital bathroom. Alone. Ava visited exactly 3 times in 4 years. Visit 1 Christmas 2020 photo with Dad using walker caption. My hero is back stronger number Anderson strong 1, 2M likes. Stayed 36 hours. Visit 2 Summer 2021 TikTok series, taking care of my dad in Seattle, actually stayed 4 days spent 3 shopping Nordstrom. Visit 3 February 2023 Dad about to be discharged. Ava flew in with new Gucci suitcase declared I'm ready to learn the family business now. Meanwhile, I renegotiated entire Port of Tacoma contract saved $18 million. Converted 62% of fleet to LNG secured $12 million federal grant from infrastructure bill. Secretly registered Anderson Blue Architecture, LLC, in Delaware because Washington State would notify Dad. Redesigned Pier 66 into the Northwest's first eco-terminal. Dad praised it in board meeting. Whoever did this is a genius, never knew it was his daughter. I won the 2022 AIA National Emerging Architect Award under Q, Blue. Watched the Chicago ceremony on Zoom from the hospital room while Dad slept beside me. Nobody knew. Nobody clapped. Just me and my shadow on the white hospital wall. March 2024 Dad officially discharged. He walked unassisted, speech almost normal, only slight slur when tired. Dr. Ramirez patted my shoulder. You saved his life, Quinn. Literally. I gave a crooked smile, yeah. And lost mine. That night Dad called me into the old study. He sat in the leather chair, cigar, glowing like nothing ever happened. Quinn, you did great. Dad's better now. You can go back to New York, keep drawing. I stood there still smelling hospital antiseptic on my hands. I already left Hudson Yards 4 years ago, Dad. He waved it off. Then do it again. I'll call Stephen Roth, tell him to give the contract back. Like my 4 years were just a long summer break. I said nothing. Nodded. But inside something shattered. And from the pieces a plan began to form. April 2024. Dad walking almost normally, only a slight limp in cold weather. Smith Tower 35th floor buzzing again with Italian leather shoes, Cuban cigars, yes sir from assistants. I still wore my old MIT hoodie, sat at the tiny desk by the window, 14-inch laptop, the only thing still working after 4 years of tears and spilled coffee. Dad called me into the big boardroom where a photo of him on the bow of his first ship in 1968 hung when AMG was just a 42-foot wooden fishing boat. Quinn, you did great, he said, voice deep as midnight Puget Sound. Dad's better now. You can rest. Ava's coming next week to train. I nodded. Said nothing. But in 4 years what had I done? Renegotiated Port of Seattle contract, saved $12 million. July 2021 contract about to expire. Port Authority demanded 28% dockage hike. Board panicked, lose Seattle, we lose 42% revenue. I stayed up 72 hours straight, analyzed every container route, gallon of fuel. Found they were double charging LNG vessels. I drove to Port Authority HQ in my old Subaru. Dad wouldn't let me use company cars because you're not staff. Slapped a 42-page proposal on the table, shift 40% fleet to LNG, cut emissions 62%. Invest $18M in LNG bunkering station at Terminal 46. In return, 15-year extension, fixed dockage 5 years, 18% reduction. They laughed. Little girl, who do you think you are? I opened the final slide. Federal Clean Ports grant $8 million if signed by Sept 30. They signed Sept 29. AMG saved $12 million in fees. Got $8 million grant. Stock jumped 11% in 1 day. Dad praised in board meeting, those New York lawyers did great. Nobody knew the lawyers were me, sitting in the corner typing, pretending to take minutes. Fleet conversion to LNG from idea to reality. November 2021 I discovered the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act had $1.2 billion for green ports. Condition fleet conversion plan by 2023. I wrote a 120-page proposal, drew every ship diagram, calculated ROI, carbon footprint, payback period. Submitted under AMG Sustainability Task Force because if my name was on it Dad would trash it. Result: 18 over 42 ships converted to LNG dual fuel. Built bunkering station in Tacoma, secured $8 million grant plus $22 million low interest loan from Bank of America. Seattle Times ran a front-page photo of the first LNG ship. AMG leads the green shipping revolution. Dad clipped the article, taped it to his office wall. I stood behind him silently drinking cold coffee. Secretly registered Anderson Blue Architecture LLC ABA March 2022. While Dad was relearning the word container, I registered ABA in Delaware via LegalZoom. $299. Logo: a deep blue wave curling into ABA. I worked 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. while Dad slept under meds. First project: Pier 66 Eco Terminal redesign. Replaced gray concrete yard with green roofs, solar panels, rainwater harvesting, AI automated container yard. Cost 8% more but cut energy 72%, sped handling 40%. Submitted under Q. Blue, nobody suspected. October 2022. Pier 66 completed. Dad held ribbon cutting, invited the governor. This is the future of AMG, he shouted to 300 people. I stood in the back row, Columbia rain jacket, $3 Starbucks coffee from across the street. Nobody clapped for me. But November 2022, I got an email, subject: AIA National Emerging Architect Award, winner announcement, Dear Q. Blue, congratulations. Your Pier 66 Eco Terminal is the 2022 national winner. I opened the laptop in the hospital room, Dad asleep, ventilator humming. I cried. First time in 2 years. Ava visits 3 times, 3 PR stunts. Visit 1, Christmas 2020. Ava flew in from Barcelona. $3K cashmere sweater photo with Dad on walker. Caption: watching my dad fight back, tears in my eyes. Number: Anderson strong, number family first. 8M likes. Stayed 48 hours. $800 spa day. Visit 2 summer 2022 TikTok series 24 hours as acting CEO. Scene 1: Ava in Dad's chair pretending to read reports. Scene 2: Ava in meeting with me actually napping. Scene 3: Ava posing with dock workers. Number: women in shipping. 48 hours. $12K Bellevue Square shopping. Visit 3 February 2024. Dad nearing discharge. Ava arrived with Gucci X Supreme suitcase, declared I've been managing European partnerships from Ibiza, I have 3.2M followers, that's influence. I was in the kitchen making low-sodium oatmeal for Dad. Ava clacked in on heels. Quinn: Dad says clear your stuff from the guest room. I need space for my content studio. I looked at her. 4 years. 1460 days. 35040 hours. I had given 1892 heparin shots. Changed 4210 nutrition bags. Typed 1.2 million work emails. Designed 6 secret projects. Slept average 3.8 hours divided by night. Ava 3 trips home. 3 PR stunts. 0 minutes wiping Dad. When he couldn't control his bowels. But in Dad's eyes Ava was the future. And I was the hoodie-wearing helper. The fateful night, March 2024. Dad called family dinner at Canlis, most expensive restaurant in Seattle, full Lake Union view. Tiffany stepmom in sequin dress. Ava live on TikTok from the table. Dad raised his glass. Quinn, you sacrificed a lot. I'm grateful. But I'm better now. The company needs new vision. Ava will take over AMG. I set down my fork. Ava grinned. Don't worry, sis. I'll keep you on as creative consultant or something. Tiffany chimed in. She can design the new yacht interior. The table laughed. I looked out the window. City lights reflecting on black water. I smiled. Not a happy smile. The smile of someone who just flipped the detonator switch. The 7th of April, 2024. Dad officially back at the office. Smith Tower, 35th floor. I stood in the hallway holding a $3.99 Starbucks. Only thing I'd paid for myself in 4 years. Dad stepped out of the private elevator, charcoal Zegna suit, Hermes navy tie, hair slicked back. No trace of the man who lay motionless in ICU. Quinn, he boomed like a Tacoma foghorn boardroom. Big things. I followed. Inside, Tiffany already sat in Dad's leather chair, the one I'd occupied 1460 nights, signing papers. She wore white silk Dolce & Gabbana Chanel sunglasses indoors, iPad open to TikTok shop. Darling, she squealed when Dad walked in. I planned the perfect welcome back party. Dad smiled, kissed her cheek. On the new yacht, Tiffany gushed syrupy sweet $15 million 120 feet name second wind. Theme Blake's back badder than ever. DJ from Vegas Beluga Caviar Crew closed du Mesnil, 300 VIPs. Live on Ava's channel. I stood there grey hoodie dirty Converse like an alien. Dad nodded, good. Quinn helped Tiffany organize. I almost laughed. Welcome back Blake party 2 weeks later aboard second wind anchored in Elliott Bay, LED lights pulsing to EDM, drones filming overhead. Ava in silver sequin dress on the bow lived to 1.8 million. Point of view, my dad just beat death and we're celebrating on a $15 yacht number Anderson comeback number boss energy dad center deck champagne flute storytelling. 4 years ago, I was flat on my back. But family pulled me through. Especially my youngest Ava, she managed our European partnerships from Ibiza. Ava nodded, hair flying exactly. I closed 3 deals with Maersk from a beach club in Sant Antoni. I stood by the bar, holding dad's water glass Dr. Band. Alcohol. A Vancouver logistics mogul whispered to me, Quinn heard you renegotiated. Port of Seattle. Genius move. Before I could answer, Ava snatched the DJ's mic. That was a team effort, right Quinn? You're so good at organizing. The deck roared. I smiled. Teeth clenched. 8 weeks later, Ava officially homes SeaTac. Ava emerged with 12 Gucci 10 Supreme suitcases, $4,800 each. Live from VIP exit, Seattle. Your new CEO is home. Daughter number girl boss Sarah. Dad picked her up in the new Rolls-Royce Phantom. Tiffany in the passenger seat filming a vlog. Day 1 of training my stepdaughter to run an empire. Ava's first board meeting. I took minutes. I've been managing European partnerships from Ibiza. I have 3.2 followers, more reach than Forbes chairman Harold Kim. 78 raised an eyebrow. Which deal exactly did you close? Ava beamed. The vibe, the energy. The digital logistics. Dad jumped in. Ava's generation understands digital logistics. Quinn belongs on the creative side. Harold Kim looked at me. I stayed silent. Family dinner. Canless corner table overlooking Lake Washington. 8:12 p.m. Dad set down his red wine. Solemn. Quinn, you sacrificed a lot. I know. But the company needs new vision. Youth. Digital. He slid a thick stack across the table. New will. I'm leaving Anderson Maritime Group entirely to Ava. $85 million in assets, 6 ports, 42 ships, 3 cold storage warehouses, stock real estate. All of it. Tiffany smirked, sipped champagne. She can keep her little drawings. Maybe design crew uniforms. Ava squealed, clapped. Oh my god, the Lake Washington house is mine. That's like $7 million, Mom. I looked at Dad. You mean the house I paid property tax on for 4 years with my freelance income? Dad shrugged. Technicality. You get $100,000 cash, enough to start something. Tiffany added, or buy a nice condo in Capitol Hill. Ava leaned in saccharine. Don't worry sis, I'll let you visit on weekends. Maybe redesign the pool house waterfront aesthetic. Right. I set my fork down. Metal on porcelain rang in the silence. When do I sign? I asked. Dad slid the Mont Blanc across. Right now. And there's a 7-year non-compete. No working with any AMG client. Standard. I took the pen. Ava already filming slow-mo of me signing. Big sis officially passing the torch. Number CEO loading. I signed. Neat, steady. Quinn Elizabeth Anderson, the 17th of May 2024. Tiffany laughed loud. See, she's fine with it. Dad raised his glass. To the future of AMG. Glasses clinked. I raised my water. That night, old bedroom, Lake Washington house. I opened my laptop. Email from Pacific Green Ports. $62 million contract waiting in my inbox for 3 days. Subject: we selected Anderson Blue Architecture for San Francisco's zero carbon port. I clicked. Contract digitally signed. Notarized. Confirmed. I looked out the window. Yacht club lights sparkling on the lake. I smiled. First time in 4 years. Not a grateful smile. The smile of someone who just set a bomb timer. The 16th of May 2024, 9:03 a.m. Glass-walled boardroom, 35th floor, Smith Tower. Seattle sky gray as ever. 20-foot walnut table, 14 leather chairs. I sat alone at the head dad's spot. Across from me, Thomas Whitaker, family lawyer since 1978, navy suit, gold tie, thick gold-rimmed glasses. He placed a 42-page leather-bound document on the table. Last will and testament of Blake Anderson. He tapped the cover with his pen. Quinn, final version. Board approved last night. I flipped to page 1. Clause 3. 1. Primary asset distribution. Ava, Tiffany Anderson, 100% shares Anderson Maritime Group including 6 ports Seattle, Tacoma, Everett, Vancouver, Oakland, Long Beach. 42 container and bulk carrier vessels, 1.8 million DWT total, 3 cold storage warehouses. 4. 2,000,000 pallet capacity. Real estate, 4 office buildings, 2 warehouses, 1 Lake Washington mansion $7, 2 M1 Miami penthouse $4. 1M, total appraised value $85,000,000. I turned the page. Clause 3. 2. Bequest to Quinn Elizabeth Anderson $100 $0 cash. Right to reside in Lake Washington House until the 31st of December 2024, thereafter reverts to Ava. No shares, no voting rights, no further inheritance. Thomas slid a Bank of America check across $100 $000,000, Dad's handwriting. Check's ready, he said dryly. Sign the will, take the money, done. I held the check. Thick paper, blue ink, embossed AMG logo. Thomas flipped to page 38. Clause 7. 4. Non-compete and non-disclosure. Quinn Anderson barred from working, consulting, or competing with any AMG client, partner, or sector for 7 years. Attached client list: 142 companies. Maersk to Port of Long Beach. Breach, $25 million penalty plus seizure of all personal assets. He tapped the clause. Standard practice. Protects company interests. I looked at the list. Pacific Green Ports, San Francisco, on line 87. I smiled. Thomas frowned. Something funny. No, I said. Just standard. He slid the Mont Blanc across the same pen Dad used to sign the $42 million Shell deal last year. Friday, May 17 deadline. Sign by Friday, Thomas said, voice cold as Puget Sound ice, or we freeze every account in your name. Including the freelance LLC you think we don't know about. I knew he was bluffing. Didn't matter. I was ready. Thursday night, 1:14, 7 p.m. Lake Washington House. I sat at the old dining table where Mom taught me to draw ports with colored pencils when I was 7. Laptop open. Email from Sarah Park, my lawyer office on the 62nd floor of One World Trade. Subject: non-compete loophole. Confirmed. Quinn, you're being disinherited. The second you sign the will, you are no longer an heir, no longer an employee, no longer bound by AMG internal non-compete. It only applies to family members with ownership interest. You will have 0 ownership interest. You are free to compete. Attached case law. In re estate of Chen 2021, WA state precedent. Sign. Take the $100 kelvins. Then burn them. I printed the email. Folded it, placed it in envelope 1. Envelope 2, Pacific Green Ports contract $62 million, digitally signed, notarized, confirmed. Envelope 3, handwritten 8-page letter, Crane & Co. cotton paper, Navy Mont Blanc ink, ABA, wax seal. Last line. P.S. Tell Ava to Google Port of San Francisco before Monday. It's not a cruise terminal. I put all 3 envelopes in a FedEx pouch. Address: 4 Seasons, Seattle Grand Ballroom, Adden Blake Anderson, urgent. Delivery Monday, May 191015 a.m. Friday, May 172114 p.m. Thomas Whitaker's office. I walked in black hoodie, jeans. Converse. Thomas raised an eyebrow. Formal attire next time, Quinn. I signed. Need no tremor. Quinn Elizabeth Anderson, el 17 de mayo de 2024. Thomas notariate. Done, he said. Accounts unfrozen in 24 hours. $100,000 wired by 5 p.m. I took the check. Thank you, I said. So I'm not family anymore, right? Thomas nodded. Perfect, I said. Then the non-compete doesn't apply. He froze. I stood. Tell Dad I said hi. And tell Ava. Good luck with the balance sheet. 5:03 p.m. Bank of America alert, $100,000. 0 deposited to Anderson Blue Architecture operating account. I transferred it immediately to ABA Project Fund. 5:07 p.m. Email from Pacific Green Ports, subject: press release draft, approved. Quinn announcing Monday 10:30 a.m. at 4 Seasons, Seattle. Your request: joint press conference with AMG shareholder meeting. Confirmed. See you on stage. Marcus Chen, CEO. I shut the laptop. Looked out at Lake Washington. Sunset blood red behind the Olympics. I raised my water glass to myself. To the invisible CEO, I whispered. Who just became unstoppable. Monday 10:00 a.m. Four Seasons Seattle. I stood in the wings, Dad speaking. Ava Liv. 250 people laughing. Courier walked in. 10:15 a.m. Envelope delivered. Dad tore it open. Face drained of color. Stock ticker AMG negative 11.3%. I stepped out. Wireless mic in hand. Let's begin. Friday the 17th of May 2024, 2:07 a.m. Lake Washington house. I sat in my old room. Mom's oak desk. Single 3000 kelvins LED lamp. 14-inch MacBook Pro, 4 years, no battery replacement. Flashing red. 1 new email, do not reply. From Marcus Chen is less than Marcus.Chen at PacificGreenPorts.com is greater than subject contract award, San Francisco Zero Carbon. Port. $62,000,000. I clicked. Dear Miss Quinn Anderson, Principal, Anderson Blue Architecture, LLC. After 14 months of blind submissions, 42 proposals, 3 technical rounds. We are thrilled to award the lead design and project management contract for the San Francisco Zero Carbon Container Terminal to ABA. Value $62,000,000 over 36 months. Phase 1 design, $18M, Phase 2, construction oversight $44M, reason for selection. Your proposal achieved 34% lower lifecycle emissions than runner-up Anderson Maritime Group. Innovative features: AI-optimized crane scheduling, 20% energy savings, floating solar array plus tidal energy, 100% renewable modular berth system, 40% faster expansion. Contract attached. Signed by PGP Board. Effective immediately. Press conference Monday, 10:30 a.m. Four Seasons Seattle, joint with AMG shareholder meeting. Welcome to the future of green shipping. Marcus Chen, CEO, Pacific Green Ports. I read it 3 times. $62 million. Over 600 times the $100 kelvins Dad just gave me. More than 3/4 of AMG's value. I opened the attachment. Page 47, signature block, Quinn Anderson, Principal Architect, ABA, digitally signed last week. Page 48, notary seal, State of Delaware, the 15th of May 2024, 100% legal. I texted Sarah Park, Korean-American lawyer, sharp as a blade, office 62nd floor, One World Trade. Quinn, 2:11 a.m. Contract in hand. $62M, PGP wants joint press conf with AMG Monday. Non-compete still an issue, Sarah, 2:13 a.m., sending precedent. In re-estate of Chen v. Chen Holdings, WA Supreme Court, 2021. Non-compete only binds heirs with expectancy interest. You sign disinheritance, 0 expectancy. Non-compete void. You are free to compete. I'll be in Seattle Sunday. Bring champagne. I printed the email. Folded it. Envelope 1:2:30 a.m. Started the letter. 100% cotton, Crane & Co. paper type. Dad uses for $100M deals. Ordered on Amazon Prime, delivered in 2 hours. Navy Montblanc pen gift from Dad for MIT graduation, now used to give it back. Handwritten, 8 pages. No typing. Page 1, Dear Dad, by the time you read this aloud, yes you will read it aloud, AMG stock will be down 18%. 4 years ago you collapsed on first catch. I flew from Manhattan, left Hudson Yards, left my life. I became your nurse, your CFO, your COO, your speech therapist, your daughter. All for free. Page 2. While you learn to walk again, I renegotiated Port of Seattle's saved $12M, converted 40% fleet to LNG, secured $8M federal grant. Redesigned Pier 66, you called it genius. In board meeting, you never asked who did it. Page 3. While Tiffany was in Street Barts and Ava was in Ibiza, I built Anderson Blue Architecture. 6 projects, 3 awards, 1 national AIA prize under Q. Blue. Today PGP chose ABA over AMG. Not because I'm your daughter. Because I'm better. Page 4. You valued my 1460 days of labor at $100,000. I just turned it into $62,000,000. I'm returning your keys. I'm keeping the $100 kelvins. It'll cover ABA's first year rent at Columbia Center. P.S. Ava might want to Google Port of San Francisco before her speech. It's not a cruise terminal. I finished at 4:42 a.m., sealed with ABA wax. Printed 3 copies for Dad. FedEx delivery Monday 10:15 a.m. Archive ABA safe. Sarah Insurance. Saturday, May 1:8800 a.m. I drove the Subaru to Columbia Center, tallest building in Seattle. Put deposit on 72nd floor 1200 SQFT. Building owner was an MIT classmate. 20% alumni discount. $100 kelvins from Dad. 14 months rent. Sunday, May 1:9317 p.m. SeaTac Sarah Park landed Delta from JFK. Black Hugo Boss suit, red Louboutins, silver Rimowa. She hugged me, ready to burn it down. We sat at Starbucks Reserve Roastery, Capitol Hill, war room style, courier timing 10:15 a.m. right when Dad introduces Ava. Press packet 200 copies, ABA logo, PGP contract, 4-year timeline. Slide deck 18 slides, Apple Vision Pro live to LED. Legal shield, Sarah stage left, ready to sue if Dad plays dirty. 9:00 p.m. I tried on the suit, black, the row custom at Nordstrom. Mirror reflection, hair in high bun, no jewelry, only mom's Patek Philippe. She left it in 2015. Sarah nodded. You look like the future. Monday, May 2:0600 a.m. I didn't sleep. Opened LinkedIn. Ava just posted a story, CEO Monday, loading 3.4M followers, can't be wrong. Dad posted, proud to pass the torch to the next generation. Number Anderson legacy. I didn't comment. Just texted Marcus. Chen, see you at 1030. Stage left. 9:45 a.m. Four Seasons, Seattle. I stood in the lobby. Black roller bag. Inside 200 press kits. Apple Vision Pro. 3 backup letters. Sarah beside me, AirPods in courier confirmed. ETA 1014-100000 a.m. Grand ballroom, 250 people. Dad in gray suit. Ava in red dress. Tiffany in gold. Ticker on wall, AMG $42.17. Dad on stage. My daughter Quinn signed away $85 million for $100 kelvins, room laughed. Ava live. 10:14 a.m. Courier entered. 10:15. Dad tore the envelope. 10:16 face ashen. 10:17. I stood. 72 hours ended. Hell turned to heaven. 10:17 a.m. Monday, the 20th of May 2024, Grand Ballroom, Four Seasons, Seattle. Dad held the cream crane and co envelope, hand trembling slightly. 250 people dead silent. Ava still live, camera shaking. Dad ripped it open. Page 1 under 10:0000 lumen LEDs. He cleared his throat, mic still hot. Dear Dad. By the time you read this aloud, yes, you will read it aloud, AMG stock will be down 15%. 4 years ago you collapsed on first catch. I flew from Manhattan, left Hudson Yards, phase 2, left my $200 million future. I became your nurse, your CFO, your COO, your speech therapist, your daughter. All for free. While you were learning to walk again, I renegotiated Port of Seattle contract, saved $12 million. Converted 40% fleet to LNG, secured $8 million federal grant. Redesigned Pier 66 into the eco-terminal you praised last month in the board meeting. A genius move, you said. You never asked who did it. While Tiffany was in Street Bart's and Ava was in Ibiza, managing European partnerships. Translation, posting bikini photos. I built Anderson Blue Architecture LLC. 6 projects. 3 regional awards. 1 AIA National Emerging Architect Award under Q. Blue. The trophy is in my closet, Dad. You walked past it every day. You valued my 1460 days of 18-hour labor at $100,000. I just turned that $100,000 into a $62,000 contract. Today Pacific Green Ports chose ABA over AMG. Not because I'm your daughter. Because I'm better. Your proposal scored 66 divided by 100 inches emissions reduction. Mine scored 100 over 100. 34% gap. That's the difference between legacy and future. I'm returning your office keys. Your company Amex. Your $100,000 check already deposited into ABA's operating account. It'll cover 14 months rent at Columbia Center's 72nd floor. I'm taking the Pacific Green Ports contract, the one you flew to Singapore 3 times to pitch, spent $180,000 on private jets and still lost. My name back. My future. P.S. Tell Ava to Google Port of San Francisco before her speech. It's not a cruise terminal for influencers. It's a 500-acre zero-carbon container port handling 3.2 million TEUs annually. She'll need to know, because I just stole it. Your invisible daughter Quinn Elizabeth Anderson, Principal Architect and CEO, Anderson Blue Architecture LLC, Columbia Center Suite, 7200 Seattle, WA 98104206, 555-0199 vertical bar. Quinn at andersonblue.com. Dad read to the end, voice cracking. Room silent. Ticker jumped AMG $42, $17,37, 82 10,4% denn $35, 11 16,8% denn $33, 4 21,6% trading halt pending. Ava dropped her phone. TikTok still live 1.2 million viewers. Comments exploding. She did what big sis just bodied them. Number Anderson Blue is greater than number Anderson Maritime. Clip this, clip this. Tiffany mouth agape, champagne flute shattered on marble. Dad stared at the remaining 7 pages, didn't read further. I stepped from the wings. Louboutins, clicking on walnut. Wireless mic in hand. Let's finish what you started, Dad. Monday the 20th of May 2024, 1000 a.m. Grand Ballroom, Four Seasons, Seattle. 300 people now, 50 extra reporters crammed in the hall. CNBC live on the big screen. Drone overhead. Dad center stage gray, Zegna red power tie. Ava right red Valentino red Louboutins, phone on gimbal live to 1.9 million. Tiffany left gold dress, Chanel sunglasses, indoors. 200-inch LED behind Anderson Maritime Group, green future starts today. Dad raised a hand, voice booming. Ladies and gentlemen, 57 years ago, my father started AMG with one fishing boat. Today we pass the torch to the next generation. Ava beaming, phone up, point of view. Your little sis is about to run an $85M empire, number CEO era, number Anderson legacy. Dad continued. My daughter Ava will lead AMG into the green future. 1014 a.m. Ballroom doors opened. 6'3" FedEx courier, black vest, U Argent badge, walked in like an action movie. Mr. Blake Anderson. Dad frowned but kept CEO smile. I'm in the middle of signature here, sir. Time sensitive. Dad scribbled on the tablet. Courier handed the cream crane and co envelope, ABA wax seal. Dad tore it, thinking final inheritance papers. Page 1. Dear Dad. By the time you read this aloud. Face drained. 1016 a.m. Dad started reading. Mic hot. 300 people heard every word. By the time you read this aloud, yes, you will read it aloud, AMG stock will be down 15%. Ava. Dad couldn't stop. Voice breaking. While you were learning to walk again, I redesigned Pier 66. You praised it last month. While Tiffany was in street Bart's, I secured $12M in grants. Ticker AMG $42.17, $38.44, 8.9%. Bloomberg reporter whispered, holy shit. Dad read page 4. Today, I return your keys, your $100 Kelvin's check, and I take Pacific Green Ports, the contract you flew to Singapore 3 times to pitch, $36.12. 14.3%. Ava screamed, Dad, stop. Dad. To read the P.S. P.S. Ava might want to Google Port of San Francisco before her speech. It's not a cruise terminal. $33.04. 21.6%. Trading halt. Room dead silent. 1018 a.m. I stood. Row 5 center. Louboutins clicking. Took wireless mic from frozen tech. Allow me to translate, I said, voice IC Seattle November. I put on Apple Vision Pro AR glasses, linked live to the LED. Slide 1. Anderson Blue Architecture logo, deep blue wave into ABA. Slide 2. Here's every project I did anonymously for AMG. Pier 66 Eco Terminal, 2022 Port of Tacoma LNG Station, 2023 Seattle Container AI Optimization, 2024 each with before divided by after photos, savings awards. Slide 3. Here's my $62M contract. Pacific Green Ports contract, Marcus Chen, signature Delaware notary. Slide 4. Here's AMG stock. Oh, look, down 21.6%. Live chart red line plummeting. Slide 5. Here's who's joining me. 7 AMG staff stood simultaneously. David Park, CFO, 18 years at AMG. Lena Nguyen, COO, 15 years. Marcus Reyes, Chief Sustainability Officer, wrote the $8M grant, 4 senior port engineers. David took a mic, "We're joining Anderson Blue Architecture effective immediately." They rolled black Samsonites toward me. Ava shrieked, "This is corporate espionage." She used company resources. Sarah Park stood from row 3, black Hugo Boss voice like a blade. "She was never paid. That's called unpaid labor, sweetheart. See you in court." 10:22 a.m. I took the stage. Dad stood frozen, pages fluttering down. I stood beside him. No touch. "Good morning," I said into the main mic. "I'm Quinn Anderson, CEO of Anderson Blue Architecture. LED switched ABA, Columbia Center Suite, 72001025 a.m. I presented the 4-year timeline. 2020, Hudson Yards Harborview. IQ 2020 AIC. Port of Seattle renegotiation, SSN 2020 saved. 2020 SAIC. Pier 66. IA National Award 2023. LNG Fleet. SSN Grant 2024 Pacific Green Ports. $62M. Each milestone, with photos me injecting, Dad me asleep in ICU, chair me watching AIA ceremony on Zoom. 10:28 a.m. Ava tried to recover. "Daddy, this is a PR stunt. She's jealous." I clicked final slide, email from Marcus Chen, 2:07 a.m. "Friday, we chose ABA because your proposal beat AMG by 34% in emissions reduction." Ava stammered. But I thought Pacific Green Ports was. Software room erupted in laughter. CNBC reporter shouted Miss Anderson comment on Ava's statement. I smiled. "She'll learn. Eventually." 10:30 a.m. Marcus Chen walked in. Pacific Green Ports CEO, green suit, PGP badge. He shook my hand in front of 300 people. "Quinn ready for phase 2, 1032 a.m. Ticker updated. AMG trading resumes $29.88, 29.1%. Dad yelled, "Quinn, we need to talk privately." I turned. "You chose this stage, this audience, this moment. Let's finish it." 10:35 a.m. I closed. ABA opens tomorrow. We're hiring. Anyone who wants to build the future instead of guarding the past. Doors open. 3 more AMG staff stood. Total 10. 10:37 a.m. I left the stage. Dad tried to grab my hand. I pulled away. Tiffany crying in the corner, mascara running. Ava slumped on the floor, phone screen cracked. 10:40 a.m. I exited. CNBC drone followed. Seattle Times reporter ran up Miss Anderson, one quote. I paused. My worth was never $100,000. It was $62 million and counting. 10:45 a.m. I got in the car. Old Subaru at valet. 7 new employees in 2 black SUVs behind. We drove to Columbia Center. Radio AMG stock halted again at $27.12, down 35.7%. I laughed. First time in 4 years. Monday, the 20th of May 2024, 11:02 a.m., Columbia Center's 72nd floor. I stepped into the empty new office, 1200 SQF, floor to ceiling glass, full Puget Sound view. Seattle sky gray as always, but this time I saw blue. 7x AMG staff behind me. Samsonites rolling. David Park, CFO, 18 years, put a hand on my shoulder. "Welcome to the future, boss." 11:15 a.m. First phone rang. Port of Oakland. Quinn just saw the live stream. AMG withdrew their expansion bid. We want ABA. $18 million contract. 11:27 a.m. Text from Maersk North America. Effective immediately, suspending JV with AMG. Discussing direct partnership with ABA. $14 million. 11:41 a.m. Email from Port of Long Beach. Reconsidering LNG terminal bid. ABA's Pier 66 record speaks for itself. $10 million, 48 hours. 4 contracts. $42 million gone from AMG. 1:20:3 p.m. Number, Cruise Terminal CEO trending Hasson US. Ava posted TikTok at 1:15:8 15-second clip in the Maybach mascara streaked. My stepsister just stole my dad's company. I can't even. Number family betrayal. 12 million views in 42 minutes. Top comments, girl thought San Fran was for Coachella Cruises. Number Cruise Terminal CEO equals new MBA dropout. Quinn said, hold my Louboutin and took the bag. Memes everywhere. Ava confused face plus when you inherit $85M but can't Google dad reading letter plus point of view. You just got owned by the artsy daughter. 1:15 p.m. Forbes call. Lead reporter Quinn, you're on the cover of 30, under 30 out tomorrow. Headline, the $62M revenge of the invisible heiress. I smiled, send the digital proof. 2:07 p.m. Tiffany's second TikTok. 3-minute video crying in Nordstrom fitting room. Hermes bags on floor. My stepdaughters stole my life. I married into this family for love, now I have nothing. 12 million views, 1.8 million shares. Comments, ma'am, you married a stroke patient for the yacht. Quinn took the empire, you still have the Maybach. Number stepmom tears equals new reality show. 3:30 p.m. AMG emergency board meeting. Text from Harold Kim, Chairman Blake locked himself in office. Ava left for Miami. Stock halted at $26.44, down 37.2%. We need you. I replied, send terms. 4:12 p.m. Seattle Times headline. Anderson Maritime Group loses $42M in contracts after daughter's COP. 4:45 p.m. Wall Street Journal. From caregiver to competitor, Quinn Anderson's $62M checkmate. 5:03 p.m. LinkedIn. 16 former clients posted proud to reveal our award-winning eco-terminal was designed by Quinn Anderson of at Anderson Blue Architecture. My invisible portfolio suddenly blinding. 6:30 p.m. Bank. $5 million from Pacific Green Ports hit ABA account. 50 times dad's $100 kelvins. 7:15 p.m. I went back to Lake Washington House. Last time. Cardboard boxes, MIT diploma. AIA award in wooden frame. Mom's Patek Philippe. 3 childhood port drawings, mom kept them framed. I left the keys on the kitchen counter. Posted for Ava. Good luck with property tax. 8:02 p.m. Dad called. I let it ring. Voicemail, Quinn. We need to talk. This is fixable. I deleted. 9:11 p.m. Ava DM on Instagram. Can we talk? I deleted the TikToks. I didn't know. I replied. Send me your GMAT score first. 10:00 p.m. Sarah Park called. Board wants emergency vote tomorrow. They'll offer you president $1. 2M divided by year. I laughed. Tell them, I don't want a throne. I want partnership on my terms. 10:30 p.m. I stood on Columbia Center balcony, Seattle glittering below. Phone buzz, Forbes proof, cover me in black suit holding $62M contract, Pier 66 glowing behind. Headline, she gave up $85M. Then built $62M in 72 hours, subline. Sometimes the best revenge is a better balance sheet. 11:11 p.m. Text to Marcus Chen. Phase 2 expansion. Reply instant, board approved. Plus, $25M. Total $87M, $87 million. More than dad's $85 million. 11:59 p.m. I turned off the lights. First day of ABA. No more hoodie. No more tiny desk. Just me and the city I was about to reshape. Tuesday, May 2, 18:00 a.m. AMG opened $24.12, 42.8% market cap, lost $36 million in 24 hours. I opened email 12 ABA job applications, 8 new client inquiries. 3 strategic partners from Singapore, Rotterdam, Shanghai. 9:15 a.m. First assistant. 2 4-year-old UW grad resume, said left AMG this morning. Hired on the spot. 10:00 a.m. Dad showed up in Columbia Center lobby. No appointment. Suit, rumpled eyes red. Quinn. I stood office hours 9 to 5. Schedule with my assistant. He looked at me. First time in 4 years he saw me. Not artsy daughter. But a rival. I turned away. Glass doors closed behind me. Wednesday, the 22nd of May, 2024, 7:02 p.m. Canlis Restaurant, Queen Anne Hill. Most expensive restaurant in Seattle. 180 degrees Puget Sound view. Corner glass table candlelight. Dad sat across from me. Navy suit tie loose, first time I'd ever seen it loose. No Tiffany. No Ava. Just us. Dad pushed the menu aside, placed a 12-page leather-bound document on the table. Quinn, he started, voice hoarse from no sleep, come back. President of AMG, $1.2 million a year, 15% equity. Board seat. Your name on the door. I sipped water, no wine. Dad continued, we announce tomorrow. Stock rebounds. You save the company. Save the family. I set the glass down. Crystal on wood rang in the silence. I don't want your throne, Dad. He frowned. I want partnership on my terms. I slid a thin 3-page document across white cover, ABA logo embossed. Partnership term sheet, Anderson Blue Architecture 10 Anderson Maritime Group. Dad flipped to page 1. Clause 1, Ava Anderson. Must enroll full-time MBA at top 20 school, Wharton, Stanford, MIT, Sloan. 0 salary during studies. Upon completion, trainee position only. Dad stiffened. She's your sister. She called me creative consultant 5 days ago. Clause 2, ABA Autonomy, ABA 100% independent office staff brand. AMG receives only 30% profit on joint ventures. ABA holds veto on any project. Dad turned to page 3. Clause 3. Public apology, Blake Anderson posts on personal LinkedIn tag at Anderson Blue Architecture. Content, I undervalued my daughter Quinn's 4 years of unpaid labor. She built ABA while saving my life and my company. I was wrong. I am proud. No deletion, no edit, no private. Dad set the pen down. This is humiliation. No, I said. This is accountability. Dad looked out the window. Yachts gliding across black water. 8:15 p.m. Harold Kim called. Dad put it on speaker. Blake board just voted. You sign or we remove you as chairman. Stock can't take another day. Quinn's terms or nothing. Dad silent for 42 seconds. He picked up the Mont Blanc, the one I used to write the letter. Signed. Blake Anderson, hand shaky but clear. 8:07 p.m. Dad slid the contract back. Anything else? Yes. I pulled out a small key, Dad's office safe. Mom's sketches. The ones she saved since I was 7. They're in your safe. I want them. Dad took an old brass key from his wallet. I never opened it, he said. She told me not to. I took the key. 8:35 p.m. Dad stood. Quinn, I cut him off. This is business, Dad. Not family, you taught me that. He nodded. First time in my life he didn't argue. 9:02 p.m. LinkedIn notification. Dad's post live on my feed, Blake Anderson, former chairman and CEO, Anderson Maritime Group. I undervalued my daughter Quinn's 4 years of unpaid labor. Full apology, 3 paragraphs at Anderson Blue Architecture is future of sustainable shipping. I was wrong. I am proud. Number Anderson Blue. Number leadership lessons. 4:20,000 likes in 15 minutes. 9:30 p.m. Ava texted. I enrolled at Wharton. Starting September. Can you mentor me? Privately, I replied, send me your admissions letter first. 10:11 p.m. I went to Columbia Center. 72nd floor lit up. 10 new employees sticking ABA logo on the glass door. Sarah Park in the middle, champagne in hand. To the woman who turned $100 kelvins into $87 in 5 days. I raised my water glass. To the invisible CEO, who just became undeniable. 11:59 p.m. Email from Forbes. Subject 30. Under 30. Final cover. Attached me on Pierce $66.87 contract in hand, Dad far in the background, first time he looked up. Headline, she gave up $85. Then built an empire on her terms, subline lesson, never bet against the quiet one. I turned off the lights. Glass reflected the city. Seattle was now mine. Monday, the 19th of May, 2025, 8:07 a.m., Columbia Center, 72nd floor, ABA, occupied the entire floor. 28 employees, 12 desks, 3 glass meeting rooms, 1 3D model studio. Electronic sign outside Anderson Blue Architecture. Backlog $180, 0000000. Projects 9 ports 4 countries 1 moonshot. I wore light gray. The rose suit black Louboutins stood at the window overlooking Puget Sound. Today, grand opening of San Francisco Zero Carbon Container Terminal $87 million project, 9:45 a.m. Pier 39 San Francisco, California. Sun blazing, 500 guests. President Biden sent a congratulatory video. I took the stage. Today we prove legacy isn't inherited, it's engineered. 300-inch LED displayed Presidential Sustainability Award, 2025 winner San Francisco Zero Carbon Port, lead designer Quinn Anderson. Applause like waves. 10:12 a.m. Dad appeared. He stood in the back row, navy suit, no tie, hair, grayer, no Tiffany, no Ava. He didn't come on stage. Just quietly placed a small cream envelope on the reception table. Crane & Co. Cotton. Mom's handwriting. I opened it after the ceremony. Quinn, my love, if one day they make you feel small, build something so big, they have to look up. Mom always believed you could. Love, Mom. 2017. Inside the 3 childhood drawings, Mom had framed them, kept them in Dad's safe for 11 years. I held the first one. Quinn's future port, age 7 paper ships Lego cranes. Smiling Sunday. Tears fell on the paper. 11:30 a.m. I hung Mom's quote. On the main office wall, laser-etched stainless steel, build something so big, they have to look up. Elizabeth Anderson. 201728 employees, stood and clapped. 2:07 p.m. Ava DM. Ava. Anderson. Can you mentor me? I deleted 90% of my TikToks. Starting Wharton in September. I want to learn. For real. I replied. Quinn Anderson. Send me your GMAT score first. 700 plus we talk. 3:15 p.m. Dad left San Francisco. No words. Just left a second envelope on his chair. Lake Washington house key. Post it. It's yours. Always was. 4:02 p.m. ABA dashboard. $180 backlog 42 employees, 14 new hires, 3 new projects. Rotterdam, Singapore, Dubai, 1 fund, Sequoia just invested $50 Series A, 5:30 p.m. Forbes update. Quinn Anderson 28 builds $250 valuation in 12 months 7:11 p.m. I went home. Lake Washington house now. ABA house basement, studio, living room, library, kitchen, team pantry. I hung my age 7 drawing next to the presidential award. 8:00 p.m. Dad's only LinkedIn post of the year. Blake Anderson investor. 1 year ago I lost my company. Today I watched my daughter win the future. Proud doesn't begin to cover it. Number Anderson Blue, 1120000 likes. 9:11 p.m. I stood on the balcony. Lake Washington sparkling. Phone buzzed. Marcus Chen. Dubai wants zero carbon. $120M. You in? I replied, send the brief. 10:00 p.m. I turned off the lights. On the desk $120M Dubai contract, Ava's GMAT 720 Mom's house key. I closed my eyes. Last line, I whispered to myself. They laughed when I walked away from $85 million. Now ABA is worth $250 million, and I still have the house. The real inheritance wasn't money. It was permission to build when they stopped believing. Outside, Seattle lit up. Inside I smiled.